Give it up for Terrence.
I'm Terrence Schubring from jambots.com, and I'm learning Node.js. I'm trying to get my resume modernized, so I wanted to do a multiplayer project using WebSockets and Node.js. So I thought, okay, what would be fun? I've done a lot of puzzles and music education, productivity, some real boring apps. I wanted something with some action. I wanted to be able to shoot, go fast, blow things up, get air, things like that. I make fun of people who watch dramas, but I do something even more foolish. I watch other people play video games. So I've been watching, PUBG a lot, and I thought it was pretty interesting that these people played the same island for a year before they came out with the second one. So I wanted to work on a procedurally generated island. So I'll talk a little bit about the technology, but mostly the design. The other design element I wanted to have is that it'd be kind of a living room game. So you can bypass all of the account sign-in, security, trolls, or whatever. Just something that you would do, in a room or in a bar. So here's a screenshot of a demo I showed at the VR meetup a couple weeks ago. If you go to jambots.com, I wrote an article that talks about the different technical aspects and design things about it here. I'll go over a few of them. The procedural landscape. What I do is I have a tile that's 512 by 512, and in this case I would apply sine waves to the x and y coordinate to derive each pixel to get a value from 0 to 255 and make a PNG file. So that would be like the colorized based on the height, and then this one on the left represents the height. So when you combine sine waves at different frequencies and amplitudes and apply those to the x and y value, run the x and y through that for each pixel, the sine waves combine to give you kind of a natural looking variation. So you'll have kind of repeating patterns and continuous variation in scale. And so you can do that generatively. Now that's a lot of, it's kind of a big board you'd have to send across the wire from the room to the clients. So instead of doing that, I generate some seed numbers in the server room, and then when the clients log into the room, they use the seed numbers to generate the landscape, and they all end up with the same landscape. And so I can have some savings in synchronized. So like this map would be kind of expensive to send. So it's 512 by 512. Each square has 2 triangles, so it's about 500,000 triangles in a 3JS project on the web. So if you have a landscape that's 512 by 512 and it's only 255 values high, that's pretty granular. It's going to look like Minecraft. So I found an algorithm that'll generate a mesh from the pixels, and so that'll line the triangles up with each other so it looks smooth. But when you are playing on the game, you have to have an algorithm to derive the intermediate points. So I could get values, floating point numbers into a function and then get back a floating point altitude, even though the world is very granular. Also, the Node.js, I'm communicating the player's state, their x and y position, how fast they're going, what their controls are. That's going at about 6 frames per second. Everyone's updating everybody. But the frames are trying to animate at 60 frames a second. So to keep everything running smooth, I run the simulation on all of the ships according to their last known controls. So they're kind of simulating in parallel. I haven't completely built this out yet. So there'll be, obviously if you have a late breaking change in the player's controls, they can have a kind of a jitter or a janking effect. This could be reduced If I were to simulate a head for the other clients, the clients might be 50 or 100 milliseconds behind, I can just animate them that many animation frames ahead. So that might reduce some of the jitter. Also, if you have a low frame rate, you're losing physics frames too, which isn't correct. Physics are really approximate in this demo. So it talks about the parts of that here. So for the sound engine, I used the Noise Hack Monotron. HTML5 has basically subtractive synthesis, like a modular synthesizer. You can also play back PCM sounds. But yeah, you can build filters, oscillators, do polymod over time. It's all very well built. I like it. So I needed something that would do a smooth frequency change for the engine sound. So I kind of went down a rabbit hole learning web audio API. I'd always been a sample playback guy, but I'm really, really happy with the way the web audio API delivers vintage sounding stuff for free. It's fairly performant. Here's how I get into the lobby here. So I'm going to actually modify this a little bit. I have a slightly modified client. So in this case, I didn't use sine waves. I applied a transparent radial gradient to a bitmap on HTML5 canvas. And so we have 256 grayscale values. So for the landscape, I started at the mid gray, and then I applied the craters. And then the bigger, deeper craters have less transparency, and then like the old lower craters, they were more transparent. And so with this, you can see where one of the craters has overlapped another one. And I take a similar gradient and apply that to the texture. So wherever the craters of the moon occur, there's a little bit of white ejecta is the term for that. So what you'll see here, when I start this simulation, we have a nice moonscape there, and zoom out a little bit, I think. Oh, well, my zoom isn't working. No matter. So I'm going to figure out where I am here. Okay, yeah, I'm in that little spot there. And I can, so the control scheme is, now, it's designed to be played on a phone or on a desktop. So the arrow controls plus or minus Q and the space bar to shoot. If you shoot, you can detonate by hitting the space bar again. Then if you were to hit this on your mobile device, you could just just use the touch UX. So I'm going to ask all of you to get out your VR headsets and your PlayStations. Well, you didn't bring those? Oh, it's right there. Get up this URL and you'll join my mission to the moon. So you can just scan that with your iOS and it'll come up and ask you to go to sleepytag or roku.com.
We just type the URL
you can go to jambox.com and click on the QR code there. So once you get here, you hit the start button to let iOS play on. And then it will take a minute to initialize the 3D.
Yeah!
Oh, am I already being attacked? Look at this mob.
Ah!
So yeah, you can see janking. I always thought janking came from jank, but janking is actually a term for avoiding a missile in an aircraft.
Boom! Eat it!
So one of the things I disabled the horn audio because since we're all in one room, anyway, so it's nice we didn't have to enter an email address or sign into anything. So we've all got the same creators, you can get there. Yeah, I disabled components audio because the web audio API does start to be costly. You start to have 6 or 8 synthesizers voices going here.
Go get them.
Well, so you can hang on to this URL and drop into my test room if you like. So the reason I'm here is I'm looking for a job, and I'm learning Node so I can do some like modern web development stuff. But if you go to jambots.com, look at that article, you'll see a link to my GitHub. You can download this and get yourself a Roku account. It's completely free, and start this would be a good test start with a lot of problems solved for a hackathon or something, for a starting place. If anybody needs help figuring out how to set up the Heroku or the GitHub stuff, or wants some help playing with any of this kind of technology, contact me at LinkedIn, Karen Schubring, or you can find my contact information at jambots.com. That's it. Thank you very much.